This is video 4 of 5 over short mid-range footwork and some application stuff. And this video today, we're going to look at some of the different types of kicks and strikes and some of the things that would benefit you and maybe not benefit you if you're trying to fight in a short range and you're trying to execute striking and grappling type movements. So let's look at, first off, some of the things that we want to focus on. So I talked about this in the last video about not having a dominant side. And I want to be able to move around a lot. Now, what I mean by that is whether my right hand is out and I'm fighting off of this side first, or if this side is out. I don't want to feel like I have to always switch to be at this side. And a lot of people, or not a lot, but the majority of people doing like certain forms of kickboxing, they will lead off of whatever that one dominant side is. And, you know, they may try to get their power hand, but they're also got a power leg, right? So when they kick, they'll fall back, right? They'll go right back to whatever the combos are, and they'll kick, and then they'll roll back. That's really, you're giving the guy an opportunity to come in on you. If he can catch that timing, you'll either capture the leg, or he can move in with you as you're moving backwards, right? If I'm here and I do this kick, and I go to pull the leg back, that's his opportunity to move in on me, right? Either with punches, or to seize the leg, or to destabilize me, to make me fall down, etc., right? Here, and I do this, and as I go back, I can catch the leg, or as the leg is falling backwards, right? This point where my body is rolling, this is his opportunity to move inside. He can easily knock me down. He can even hook and sweep this side, right? I'm not counting the striking that he could execute. Something else too, like fighting in this range, I don't really need to lean away. Now, there's different reasons why people lean away. They do it to, like, you know, he does the kick and he doesn't want to get punched in the head, so he does this. And so if he throws a punch up, it's up to the kick, right? It's supposed to help to keep me out of range, right? Or I want to really get that leg up there at his head, so I lean away to get the leg up. You don't really want to, you know, I would say with the strategy that I have for short range fighting, that's not a movement that I would want to do. I need to be able to ensure that I can get my knees up as high as I can so that I can drive force down into the person's legs. Not trying to hit them like the leg is a projectile. Meaning like out here, if you think when I hit him, it's the momentum and the mass of the leg. Yes, there's some articulation of the body, but a lot more of it is just the speed that it's traveling and the mass of the leg. Yes, there's some force to it too, like this kind of stuff. But in here, I can kick and I can just drop my mass into it. And literally, in reality, a lot of times, I don't even have to use much momentum at all. And that's really what I'm kind of trying to shoot for. I don't want to have to step back or move back to do a kick. I don't want to have to feel like I have to move away to throw in a punch. I want to be able to do everything from this type of distance. As long as I can touch his arm, his bridge, or in his torso, right? You know, even from here, or here like this, it's the same thing, right? Whether I've got one hand as the lead or both hands as the lead, I want to be able to touch him, and I want to be able to strike and kick from this range. The leaning away, I have to recover too, right? There's nothing wrong with long range kicking, okay? But if you look at your overall strategy, if you are purely a kickboxer and your objective is to be able to kick and stay away and be able to use strikes, we'll say more sparingly, or you know, maybe you kick and you fall into something and you move back to kick again, you know, and move out like that. That stuff is fine. But again, like in the previous video, I'm talking about striking, grappling. I I want to develop my kicks for short range to destabilize and break him down and to cause pain. I don't want to fight out here, right? I don't want to have to keep inserting myself, taking myself out, putting myself back in, taking myself out. I want to make that initial, we'll say, sacrifice, right, to whatever it was, to get close, and then from here, I want to be able to move with him and flow with him. You know, if he throws a punch with the other hand, I want to be able to, if he throws a punch with his hand, I want to be able to move back and forth with him, either seizing the bridges and striking or not. And I don't really have to do that many change-ups, right? Like, I was here and he throws the punch, and I come here and he throws the punch. I'm not just right away, I want to be able to do that throw, right? Even off of the first one, from here he throws this, right? And I should be able to go right away into a control or into execution of a takedown, right? Either a trip or a full throw. So what I'm getting at is it's no different than if you said, we'll say something like Taekwondo, right? Taekwondo is a long-range fighting style, and then say you've got I don't know, another style, and it's close range. Well, they're distinctly different, right? And even if you're doing kung fu or you're doing mixed martial arts, it's the strategy that is important. Am I training for the strategy for overall, or am I training this strategy and this strategy and this strategy? There's nothing wrong with that, but if that is your intention and your objective, if it's not, and you're doing 2 or 3 things that are polar opposites, you might not be getting the results you want. Meaning, I need to be aware of how I'm training it, right? I don't want to do long-range kicks if I really want to be grappling with the guy. Not unless that's my intention. I want to develop on long range, but also want to develop this. But I need that intention, and I need that idea going forward. If not, I'm aimlessly just mixing strategies together in a position I'm not going to get, again, a full benefit from it. So, anyway, again, it doesn't matter. I don't care if this foot's forward, and this foot's forward, or this foot's forward, or I'm like this in this range, right? It doesn't matter to me. I say that because, again, competition may be something different, but not. I want to feel like I'm in a natural state. So if I'm standing like this and I can easily kick him in either side of his leg, and I can strike him with either hand. And you go, well, your groin is exposed. Well, so is this, right? I mean, if I'm going to wrestle with a guy, a lot of times I'm going to be in something like almost in a, I can be this way, but I'm also going to be this way. And if you watch the previous video where we're talking about patterns, so it's the one pattern that looks like a stop sign, right? I'm here with a guy, and I move here, right? I'm crossing his bridge, and then to the extreme flank, right? So I want to drill those 3 pieces. Like in the video, we talked about pivoting, parrying, baiting, and striking, and then moving again, like that, right? Well, if I practice these 3 positions, whether this foot's forward, or both feet are the same. If I attack him or he attacks me, right? And that's what I want to work. So I control his arm and I come in and I strike, right? Or he throws it and I move here to this side, right? Or he throws it and I try to move all the way over here. I gotta drill that. You're not gonna develop the ability to be here and try to move to the guy's side without working that footwork. You've got to work it. And in the previous video, I was talking about, if you've got a partner and you want to work this idea and that's the only time you train it. Yes, you'll get better at the timing, but his attack, I'm going to get better at dealing with this, right, and the momentum of it, handling this momentum. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to get better at how I articulate my body and how I step. I need to drill that stuff. And sometimes, literally dozens and dozens of times to get those movements fluid and smooth for you, right? So you think, if you're practicing, again, something that comes off the front, I can lead right in. If I'm used, both feet are forward like this, here, he goes that same punch, it doesn't matter, here, or this goes forward. Of course, it's easier, right? If I'm like this, and again, I want to come across his bridge. If the person is a lot taller than you, you're almost going to almost invariably always come across and cut through the line of his bridge. It will shorten the length of his strike, right? Like, say he, you can't reach out far enough. He can hit you, but there's just no way you can get it from here. If you come to the side like this, and his extension maybe goes past me now, but it's so much easier for me to hit him by taking this line. This extreme side of the flank is very difficult to get. It's doable, but again, you've got to make your footwork good and explosive force to be able to get that. And if you go back to look at some of these pieces that we talked about, these driving pieces, or drawing, pulling, all of that stuff, if you drill that stuff and work your cardio to work the movements and work the simple movements, punches and parries and evasions, and then later adding in simple fundamental kicks, front kick, cross kick, side kick like that. So let's look at some of these pieces again. So I'm going to attack him, but I'm going to try to attack him in a way where I'm going to attack the leg and the hand at the same time, right? And I'm not going to chase this hand. I'm not trying to look for it, but I'm going to throw up a strike. If he doesn't deal with the strike, I'm going to hit him. And if he does, then I'm going to seize his arm. And at the same time, I'm going to kick it. So I'm trying to stimulate him in two spots, right? So again, I'm just using a low cross kick and a hammer fist. He does it to me. Same time. No. Here it is. So think I want to get to his side. Right? One way or the other. So when I kick, I don't pull this foot back, but I kick the plant. I know what his leg is. And if I really did it well, I would kick and I'd want to land so that my leg is adjacent or attached to it. That's the same thing I'm trying to get with the arm, right? So I didn't get it, it was really close. It's not about speed. When you practice this with a partner, just think, try to coordinate the movements. Coordinate the movement. Coordinate the movement. Coordinate the move. And then control. So don't think that the hand, the arm is a place setter. I'm going to really do it. Say that. And don't think of it like this, like I'm putting this thing out there like that. Let it come from you. You're not using that to pivot off of. Same time. Yeah, same time. Okay, with the knee. With the calf. Yeah. If you're training with people, and I said that to him not to be rude, and he doesn't know, he didn't know he's kicking me in the knee, hands, whatever. But if you're training with a partner and they're putting too much into it, or they're kicking you in the knee joint or something like that, you want to say, hey man, don't kick me in the knee, right? And it's not to, we want to take care of our joints. Like you don't want to get bad knees. So on the street, sure, maybe you want to come down on his knee. I don't really need to. I mean, I don't know, you're in a street situation or somewhere, I don't know where you're at, you're at Wendy's and somebody's starting to shit with you. I don't need it, especially starting to shit with me and I think he's going to want to beat me out. I don't need to blow out his knee. But I definitely kick him in the calf and hit him upside the head or the neck. And then if he doesn't do anything, if he tries to defend it, I'll control it. And then the next one we're going to use, just the same kind of premise, but we're going to go, instead of like crossing like this, we're going to come off with our shin kick, and we're going to plant into him. You see where my arm is, and this one here, I can turn it into a punch, or into whatever else I want to do next. And it was about me getting this attachment. So I just come in, boom. But again, when you do this, you want to kind of bump into it, right? Like make yourself work. If you do this, you're not going to do anything, right? It'll be like you didn't do anything that he has to recover from. So when I do the kick, it's to destabilize, and then I push into him. I don't want to push him away from me. I want to keep that attachment so I can turn that into a control and then potentially into a takedown or a throw. Right? So he does it to me. So don't think like that, right? Like he's reaching for something. I'm gonna fall into something. You understand? If I try to do like this and I'm trying to reach to catch this thing or whatever, it's too slow and it's gonna make it to where it's easier for him to move. You want to use dynamic balance, not static balance, and I'm gonna fall into it, literally fall into it. And if I keep falling, I'll start getting, or I'll turn this into waist control or head control or control of the shoulder. And he's, flipping backwards, right? All right, so scoop, and I'm using my forearm, see? And look, my forearm's not like this. This would be up into my shoulder girdle. It's turned this way so I can drive with it. Keep pushing. Break. You want to break me down. And it doesn't matter. Again, I can do this from here. I can do it from here. It doesn't matter. You can do it from here. Don't think like that. If you think of it like this, what I'm trying to explain to him is I don't want to have to take on a stance. Competition is one thing. Again, I don't know where you want to be. You're Wendy's and somebody's starting shit with you. I need to be able to be like this, and I need to be able to not have to go, well, I got to take on this stance, or I need to be with my left leg's got to be forward because that's the only way I train. That kind of mentality. In order to do that, I just need to be natural. If this guy starts shit with you, I need to be able to initially attack him. It's like I want to put him on defense, right? A lot of I said this recently in actually the first video of this. I was talking about people that do traditional martial arts. My feeling is in the 70s, when everybody started making mid to late 70s, and you got all these kids that are going to martial art classes now, and they turn everything from offense to defensive type actions, and that snowballed into what it is today, where people just stand and wait for somebody to attack them. You don't see that in combat sports. Combat sport guys, mixed martial art guys, kickboxers, Muay Thai guys, wrestlers, you name it. None of those guys, fencing. None of those guys sit and, maybe with the epic, but none of those people just sit there and just wait for you to attack them. And they don't. It's bad programming. In reality, we want to, if you feel that it's an impending situation that you can't de-escalate and the person's going to attack you, then I need to be able to initiate the attack so that I have him on the defense and him having to try to counter what I'm doing. Not him attack me and then I've got to kind of contend with this. It's not a morality issue. It's not a morality issue. It makes me a good person because I waited on him to try to beat me up first. So some of the fundamental kicks that we use with this short range and the footwork. I'm not going to bruise up his legs or anything, but look, we're going to use the edge of the foot like this, right? I don't do anything where it's barefooted. Maybe you take karate or you do this certain thing. I mean, some side use is barefooted, some is not. But again, you have to pick and choose your techniques, right, for that competition. This is what we're going to use for it. But for day-to-day practical use, I want to be able to use my shoe like for a better sense of weapon, right? So I'm going to use the inside and outside edge and the toe and the rear heel. This is very painful. And I can do these from here. If he throws punches at me, this hurts bad. And if I with a nice boot with a really good heel, very painful. So the edges of the shoe, the ball, the heel, the arch, the instep are all doable to kick with. And then we have the shin and the rear of the foot. Again, just like not using the heel, but I'm going to use the back of my leg. And this is good for stuff like this, right? He comes in to punch and I move it, I kick this way, right? And it's to destabilize, it causes a little pain, and then I would do more follow-ups from there. The striking that we use is pretty fundamental. Vertical, horizontal, we'll say like an uppercut action, inverted punch action. So this way, this way, this way, right? There's three. And then we've got our hook and our uppercut and our swing punch, hammer fist, back fist, and inside hammer fist, right? So any of those are applicable. For a competition, depending on the event, you can't use some of those punches. But I can on the street, and that's kind of more where these videos are being garnered toward. So again, there's 5 of these. There's 5 more that will be over a set of a dozen throws. And then there's 5 more videos that will be over sensitivity training to merge these things together. And then after that, you utilize that stuff for sparring and wrestling. But for the average Joe, if you were able to learn this content, it would be a good little package for you. Or say you do a style of martial arts and it doesn't have any throwing, and you want to know how to tie this stuff together. If you watch these videos over the throws that we're going to do, along with these, and looking at how to do these short range kicks and punches to either to cause him, to strike him, or to destabilize him, or to break him down enough that I can get my attachment to execute my throw. So let's look at a couple more. So I'm going to do a side kick, but I'm not going to lean away when I do this side kick. Now, if I really felt like this guy's beating the crap out of me, and he's coming in and he's just pounding on me, I may use a side kick to get me away from him. In other words, I'm aborting this attachment, right? I got in here and it was more than what I expected, right? So it's like grabbing the tiger by the tail. You grab it by the tail, you better get ready. If not, you may get beat down yourself, and nobody wants that. So if I need to, I will do some movement like this to get me away, but I don't want to have to do that. And most people hate this. They really don't like to be this close. The average dude on the street feels he needs momentum to punch you, right? He needs to pull the arm back to hit you, and if I keep smothering him and I'm inside on him, every time he tries to move to create some space, I'm just going to bring it back in, or I'm going to use it as an opportunity to trip or to hit. So the way we're going to do a side kick is I'm going to bring my knee up as relatively high, and then I'm going to come down into the leg, and then I'm going to slide the foot down, right? So from here, I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to kick, and I'm going to come down very close to him. Right? So if I was here, it's kick, and I come inside. And again, I can punch him, or I can just use my forearm to attach to him, right? I'm pushing into him. What is he going to do? He either pushes back against me, or he's going to try to move away from me.